girl is 22 years old. Like, she's born in 2003. Like, this girl does not know what she is and what she's gonna be. She'll land somewhere, but like, stop, 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 stop. Like, I think that's on us. That's on us for crowning her too soon or just elevating her for no reason. For
Yeah.
no reason.
This is Shayna,
And Chris.
and we are Bad Queers. If you came out of the closet and got put in a box of stereotypes you don't belong to, then welcome to the Bad Queers Club.
All right, this week in Queer Urban Dictionary, I have intergacial. Bringing this one back. Intergacial is a gay interracial couple. Just simply put. My sentence is there are a lot of intergacial couples in Hollywood and beyond. So, intergacial. And shout out to our intergacial couples, the ones that aren't like self-hating and problematic, but the ones that are really in love.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Speaking of love,
Mm-hmm.
Micro Urban Dictionary word of the week is stepstud. Stepstud is when two women are married with children. One of the two is more masculine in appearance and black.
Clean it up.
And black. And the masculine presenting one is not the biological or the original parent. They were married into the family. They have now become a stepstud. My sentence, my friend, my good friend, strives to be a stepstud one day.
Hmm. Okay.
It's a whole little
Specific.
niche of queers that
Yeah.
really want to be step parents and feel like
Is
having
it
a
because
stepstud
they
level.
want to parent an older child? Like they want to skip the
I think so.
baby part? Okay.
Yeah. Or if,
'Cause
like,
that's the
they
only.
come in later, they don't have to deal with who's going to have the babies, who's going to do whatever.
Mm,
Like, they're already here.
yeah,
I can do
that's
this.
so funny.
Yeah.
You know,
Honestly, this just feels like something that we would really find in Atlanta.
I feel all over. I mean, studs love kids. So,
Studs love kids.
gen generally. So,
They do.
yeah.
All
Well, all right.
right. Well, let's praise, pray tell. We gotta praise deep, pray tell.
Total
Because
praise.
today's category is not fun.
Shout out to total praise. The real ones, no.
The real
So
ones.
good.
The real
So
ones.
good.
We snuck back
Mm-hmm.
into the church to pray to do
Mm-hmm.
this
And need
because
to.
there's
But
a
like the
lot
real
going on.
Christians.
Yeah.
Because, go ahead.
No. Okay. So we'll just say an overall trigger warning, I guess, for the news because we're
Yeah.
going to be talking about
Blanket.
bans, we're going to be talking about general safety issues, we're going to talk about sex trafficking, we're going to talk
Acquittals.
about bills that are taking away our rights, and just everything is a trigger. So we're just going to give a blanket category as trigger warning for today's category is. So
I love about that. Trigger warning is like everything.
everything,
Honestly, everything.
everything. We tried to
Everything
find
bad.
something positive.
It's not.
It just wasn't. And we felt like we needed to talk about these things because
Hmm.
they need to be discussed. So, first category is UPenn, you little bitches, are to ban transgender athletes from women's sports. The Department of Education announced on Tuesday that the University of Pennsylvania caved to the Department of Education's demands to ban transgender athletes from competing in women's sports. UPenn will also erase the record set by swimmer Leah Thomas, the first openly transgender athlete to win a Division One title, and will apologize. This is the part that got me. Will apologize to female athletes, quote unquote, disadvantaged by Thomas's participation on the women's swimming team. Who was that bitch we just talked about that complained about tying for fifth with
Riley No
Leah?
Gains.
There we go. She is about to go on a whole tour with this
Yeah.
information and is going to sit front row for that apology and then have a bunch of interviews. And I'm going to be over it. So the move by UPenn follows a federal civil rights case opened by the DOE earlier this year, in which it accused the university of violating Title IX by denying women equal opportunities by permitting males to compete in women's intercollegiate athletics and to occupy women only intimate facilities. So, this is the result of that case.
Mm-mm-mm.
And we got this information from so.informed on Instagram.
So interesting. I just looked it up. UPenn is the sixth wealthiest private academic institution in the nation with a
Mm,
$22.3 billion endowment. So if they wanted to
mm-hmm.
fight the Trump administration, like Harvard's doing, which by far obviously has the most. They're number one. It's not even close. They could, they could,
They
they
could.
could. So this is just a decision, and especially like the say sorry, apologize to women. The president is a convicted, civilly convicted sexual assaulter, but UPenn, God, what they're doing to women. So
Hmm.
these things are always very interesting when you look into it. Because I was like, UPenn has a lot of money. They could have fought
Yes, they
this.
do. A lot
Some
of
some
money.
schools are not going to be able to fight the Trump administration, and they're going to need all the funding that they normally get from the Department of Education if it's still here, or any federal funding. But UPenn, $22.3 billion, could have fought this.
You
So
found that hella fast. So,
did. You got to look at these things. Once they were talking about why Harvard was fighting, and they mentioned Harvard had, what is their endowment actually? But I know they're number one. Harvard endowment is 53.2 billion as
man,
of June 30th, 2024. So,
my
you
goodness.
know, they're like, who's this? Trump? Like,
They
fuck
said,
out of here.
they
Yeah,
said,
we'll
you can
fight
go sit
that.
down. Thank
Off
you.
of principle. They were like, we will lose $20 billion just to fight you, just to fight back.
They're like, it's all
So
right. That money's going to come back to us.
it's
The
gonna come
money's going
back,
to come
and it
back.
and is, and that's like these are totals from a certain date, so that's not even counting the alumni that will kick in money just to fight more. So
Hmm.
UPenn comes off as cowards with this. It's they could have fought this, but
Yeah.
you know we've seen a lot of cowards. That's
A
the
lot of
theme here.
cowards. This is the theme of that trigger warning and cowards. Our next category is Iowa has removed gender identity from their civil rights protections. A law that took effect literally yesterday, as of this recording, was signed by Governor Kim Reynolds in February. Uh, Iowa became the first state to remove gender identity as a protected category from its state civil rights law. So, removing gender identity eliminates legal protections against discrimination in employment, housing, education, credit, and public accommodations. The law also defines sex strictly based on reproductive anatomy at birth and equates gender with that same biological definition. The governor stated, it's common sense to acknowledge the obvious biological differences between men and women. In fact, it's necessary to secure genuine equal protection for women and girls. My girl, you do recognize that this impacts cisgender women as well. But we always forget this. We always forget this. On a counter note, Iowa State Representative Amy Wichtendahl, the state's first openly transgender lawmaker, responded, stating, anytime someone has to check your ID and sees that the gender marker doesn't match your appearance, that opens the door to hostility and discrimination. We got this information from Brute.
Mm-mm-mm.
I'm just like, y'all forget, like in the simplest of ways, that if you're going to say we're going to remove gender identity from civil rights protections, that means women are just going to be inherently attacked
Oh yeah,
across the board.
and will. You know,
But Kim,
top
using
priority
words
for
like
Kim.
obvious and common sense, I'm over here like, all right, girl, wait until you lose your job and you can't fight back for nothing.
Worrying about the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm-mm. More to bad legislation. The biggest, the bogus bill,
Oh man.
um, that is currently, as we record, being that it's stalled in the House, the big beautiful bill, as the Trump administration calls it, uh, stalled in the House due to GOP opposition to steeper Medicaid cuts, higher debt limits, and changes to green energy and tax policies. This was pushed through the Senate. Was it last night they pushed it through and went back to the
Mm-hmm.
House for final approval? So now it's being debated as we speak. Um, a lot of you have seen some of the more harmful things in the bill, but I mean, there's a lot. Like it was like 800 pages of things in this bill. Some of the more harmful parts are again the deep Medicaid and Affordable Care Act cuts, projected to leave 16 million more people insured by 2034. Strict work requirements and the end of enhanced ACA or Affordable Care Act subsidies will raise costs and reduce coverage, especially for low income families. So you'll see those changes. Y- Anybody with health insurance are going to see some changes, and the cost of it will go up. Major SNAP cuts, which could leave at least 2 million children without food assistance, worsening the hardships for vulnerable groups. With student loans, the bill eliminates popular income-driven repayment plans, imposes strict borrowing caps, removes Grad Plus loans completely, and restricts Pell Grants to full-time students, making it harder and more expensive for many to finance college or to manage debt, especially for low-income and graduate students. And then with housing, while the bill expands on the low income housing tax credit, it also cuts broader social programs offering limited relief for affordable housing and failing to address the needs of vulnerable renters. And the list goes on. I mean, they literally hit every area, every sector. It's deeply unpopular for all Americans. So this isn't even just a Republican Democrat issue. This has been polled and it is very unpopular, but they don't care. They're jamming it through. The
Mm-hmm.
Republicans are jamming this through. This has been opposed by all of the Senate Democrats. And some, I believe there was a couple, one or two senators from the Republican side that did oppose it, but it went through because it was a tie, and the tiebreaker is the vice president. So it was put through, and now it's back again with the House for final approval. They need just four GOP senators to be brave and to oppose this. Again, they are currently debating this, and we'll see what happens. But I am lost of hoping that people will do the right things. Like you'll have people say it's terrible and still vote for it on the
Mm-hmm.
Republican side. So I feel like that's what would happen. They'll make them specific assurances for their state or constituencies, and then throw fuck everybody else and pass it through. So hoping I'm wrong, but it's not looking good, and this will be definitely one of the most destructive bills in American history. I think it's so interesting that Reagan had a similar bill and was a Republican actor turned Republican president, and now we have another actor turned Republican president that's gonna do even more damage that will take decades to undo. So this
Mm-hmm.
is not good, and hoping for the best and absolutely expecting the worst. So you
Yeah,
know,
I was like, I need more of us to be paying attention to this because it literally is impacting anybody who's not a billionaire.
yeah,
So
yeah,
there's more
yeah,
of us than there are of them by the millions,
yeah.
billions, honestly. So
Poor people
it's
love
wild.
billionaires, though. Poor people love
It's
rich people. It's
wild. I
so
stopped and
disgusting.
when they put the numbers up for how much anybody who's making under 30K, like that
Mm-hmm.
their taxes are going to go up by like over 70%. I just said, how
Just
much y'all still going to love
nuts.
them? How much y'all
Yeah.
still going to love them after that? Even just for that one thing alone. And then all of the taxes for the billionaires are basically cut. So
Yep.
they're saving even more money and getting even richer. And you saw the
Mm-hmm.
timeline
Paying
for like
less.
how they've gotten so rich over such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Wild.
And mind you, it's the billionaire itself not paying their fair share, and then also the companies where they have record profits that aren't paying
Hmm.
their fair share. Poor people and working class people, middle class people are the only people that consistently pay their taxes. It's been proven. It's shown what even just billionaires could stay billionaires, but just all of them give up more of a share of their wealth, and we would be fine. Like it's it's beyond greed and beyond logic why they just won't pay a little bit more for society, because I mean, most of their profits, if not all, are ill-gotten gains. Like you get it through exploitation, but they also are like, nah, we're not putting this back into society. We're not gonna, we're just gonna get richer. So,
Hmm.
um, we'll see what happens. Billionaires are they're on a streak right now. We have another billionaire that is evading accountability. So the next category is
Mm,
the Diddy case verdict. So
motherfucking.
that came down this morning as a recording. So July 2nd, we got the verdict on the Diddy trial that started at the top of May, I think May 1st. The jury found him not guilty of racketeering, conspiracy, and both counts of sex trafficking charges, which could have resulted in life in prison if he was convicted. He was found guilty on two lesser charges, transportation to engage in prostitution under the Mann Act, one count related to his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, and the other for the woman identified as Jane. Each of those counts carry a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison, so he could face up to 20 years in total. We'll see what the sentencing is. What were your thoughts when the news came through?
I was disappointed. I thought they
Hmm.
had such an ironclad case,
Hmm.
and I knew that some fuckery would
Hmm.
happen, but didn't think that he would get knocked off both of the most serious charges. I figured he might only get one and they'd be like, that's enough to like put him in for whatever, so we'll drop this one. Like Law and Order SVU strategy to say, like, maybe we won't do
Hmm.
this, but we'll do this. And instead
Yeah.
to let him off of both and to have it guilty on the two lesser charges and to know that he will potentially just get a slap on the wrist and be able to walk out is such a high probability now as a result. And it was wild today also when recording. I've just come from the gym, so I work it out in like small group settings, and it was so interesting to hear how black women, especially older black women, talk about this case
Mm.
and
What'd they
how
say?
they're like, well, she basically put herself in that situation.
Yeah.
She stayed. She
Hmm.
let him do all these nasty things to her. What would she expect? And I'm just like, and this is probably the mindset of what inherently happened potentially with the jury,
It was 8 men, 4 women on a jury,
which is
so
also not surprising.
that's
They
that's a
out here like
thing.
we gonna support
They're like,
this.
I
Like
mean,
they said, we're gonna throw it this way for him so that we are okay in the future. Like
yeah. Or they
that's
just
how it felt.
men never take sexual assault, rape, any of that seriously, even when it happens to
No.
other men, and especially when it happens to other men. But they don't think any of that is like actually bad. Like they really
Mm-hmm.
don't. I don't know what the disconnect is, but I feel like they just never view it as like heinous for real. So I too was shocked. I was a little shocked and I was disappointed because I thought at least sex trafficking, like
At
how
least.
at least, I thought how the prosecution was handling the case was a little odd. It seemed like it was a little too heavy on the like bringing in witnesses that were sex workers and a lot of I guess of the more gossipy things rather than focusing more. And they did have a couple days of this, but like showing how he used his staff to make this happen. And he did,
Mm-hmm.
again, they did touch on this for like a couple days. I think they should have kind of made that the central point. Like maybe, okay, you had to start with Cassie because she was pregnant. You go through that testimony. You heard a lot of people, obviously differing opinions after the Cassie after Cassie took the stand. And then I feel like it was a couple more days stretching into weeks of too much on the freak offs in terms of like what was being done, the acts. I know that the jury looked at some of the videos
Mm-hmm.
of the freak offs. I think they could have done more to make him like more of a central, like, I'm using my resources from Bad Boys or Comb Enterprises or whatever his businesses are. Like I'm making these people who work for me do stuff rather than bringing in ex-romantic partners and focusing
Mm-hmm.
on that. And so either way, they did prove to me the racketeering and that he was using, his business and intertwined with these things. And certainly the sex trafficking, but the jury didn't think so. So, and that's very unfortunate, but money is, and we talked about this. Maybe I don't know if we talked about this on here, but I did think that whatever happened with this, especially if he was found guilty, like Trump would come in and do something. It just feels like, and he still might. But I don't know. I was never very comfortable during this whole trial. It didn't seem as much of a slam dunk as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And even then, I was like, it's still enough to, like, if you're looking at what these charges are, I would think it was enough to convict him. But, not the way it went.
Hmm.
And this is why people sue civilly and get their money. This is exactly why, because you can't.
Yep.
I know the federal percentage is very high with them winning their cases, which some people say it's because a lot of people plea out because they're not going to fight the feds. Diddy is a billionaire. He has money to fight the feds, so he had a very, very expensive legal team. Um, but yeah, like in general, conviction rates for this, even if you're not a celebrity, are very bad. They're very low. They're very shitty. Like it takes a lot to get it through the system as is, and then actually getting a conviction and someone actually going serving time for it is very hard. So I will always look at people going the civil suit route as justice too, because like
Hmm.
I feel very sorry for all of Diddy's victims. I'll say with Cassie, she did have her settlement before this for $30 million. I know he has a
Yep.
lot of civil cases out there, so even if he doesn't do time in jail, his reputation, I won't say that because
Yeah.
BET in five
You
years
already
might have a
know.
little thing. But in most
Okay.
cases, I think that he's not going to be welcomed back to society, popular society like he was. Like Diddy was larger than life for the longest time. I don't think he gets back there. I don't think he goes away because he's always going to have his supporters. But yeah, that's why I'm okay with people getting their money as justice because you can't leave it up to the courts sometime in juries.
Yeah.
So, woof. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I know he was arguing to be released until, the verdict or sorry, the until sentencing.
Hmm.
So I don't know where they are with that. Like that they were going back and forth this morning after the verdict of like his lawyers being like he's not a flight risk. They put up $1 million bond. He's not going to fly away, blah, blah, blah. And then the prosecutors being like, he is absolutely a danger. When we arrested him, he was about to do a freak off. Like, absolutely not. So I'm not sure where they landed with that as of this recording, but prayers to everybody, to all the victims, because
Hmm.
that's disappointing.
Yes. Yes. And it's also, were you aware, tying into this, similarly to
Mhm.
the sex trafficking racketeering, that R. Kelly was hospitalized a few weeks ago?
He was. He was. Yeah. I did not care because I like the Tory Lanez thing, think it's a maneuver to try and get out of jail
Yeah.
because it's like I fear
I
for my safety and it's like, well,
And I truly wonder how much that possibly impacted this.
I don't
Because
know.
it's like not directly, but I feel like it had to have been in the air to be like, well, we can't have Diddy in this dangerous area either.
Yeah, but
Don't
I
know.
don't know. It totally could. I don't know because I think they look at R. Kelly as like
The extreme.
more expendable,
Mm,
whereas like Diddy
that's a
has a
better
lot of
description.
ties. There are a lot of things that still
Plus,
have
when your best friend
yet
is
to
the
be
president,
said. That part, a lot of powerful people went to Diddy parties, and they still say that the tapes are still out there. So we don't know when one of these freak off tapes comes out and who's going to be on it. I mean, I think there's one person who absolutely showed up to the courtroom who is probably on this tape during these proceedings. But yeah, he definitely knows more things. He from what we heard in the courtroom, he taped all of these things and he like that's his thing. So I'm like, I wonder, you know, in the same way of a Epstein, like, the people who have to make sure he doesn't say anything because of,
hmm,
so R. Kelly don't got connections like that. I don't think so. Um, yeah, so I don't know, but definitely some maneuvering by R. Kelly to get out. It's like, no, go back to your cell.
yeah,
Like same way with Tory Lanez, where it's like, go back to your cell. I'm
go back
sorry
to
you got
yourself.
stabbed.
We're fine.
Go back to your cell is what they would tell him. That's prison. So,
Mm-mm-mm.
mm-mm-mm. Well, I had a question before we started recording this, and we said we were going to use this as a palate cleanser. I definitely will. give it a 1 second pause to just put these two little space in between these two stories. But okay, Beyonce. Your girl has had a lot going on the last
Oh
couple
man.
weeks,
Oh
man.
man.
So I wanted your thoughts on it. I wanted to ask you about the Buffalo Soldiers shirt because I thought it was one of those both sides things. This is very Libra, but both sides I get thing. And then also, yeah, her the car in Houston and leaning and she
Leaning and
always
rocking.
makes good content out of it. But yeah, would
I
you
mean,
think about the Buffalo?
she did make a
And
video
did
after it, and I was like,
it's hard.
you
Some
fucking
of those
gem.
photos are hard. Like one of them was like
Right.
the one angle I saw that was like kind of a close up, but they were like it could be an album cover, and I was like, yeah, that's a
No, but
hard.
for
It
real.
is. No, for real.
But
Like
for real.
it's pretty cool. So
Like that whole drop, that whole video could have just been for the tour, for the next album,
hmm
anything. It's so
yeah,
good. It's so good. I'm like,
yeah.
I hate that she was like in danger and had to like stop
And
the
scared
show.
and sound and was scared. Like you could hear
Right.
her
But
voice with
like
the
still
stop,
so
stop, stop.
calm.
So calm.
So calm. And
God.
she's like, stop, 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 stop.
Yeah.
And she goes down. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah. And then just the
Yeah.
commentary in the videos from the
The
crowd is so get
commentary.
her down. Like y'all are so like all of y'all became like obviously truly, and I'm glad she said that when she came back out that y'all would catch the car.
Absolutely.
Y'all
Okay.
would be okay with
And
her
then we would
making the
pass the car
car fall.
so that she
Like
could finish.
some lives will have to be sacrificed for this car to fall. And like there would be
Yeah.
some members that are like, if that's how I have to
If that's how I
go,
go out,
that's
that's
how I
how
would
I'm
want
going
to
out.
go out.
This
Yeah.
is one of those moments where it's like Regina George punched me in the face. It was awesome.
Very
Like
much so.
Beyonce fell on me with her
Very much
car.
so.
Awesome.
And they'll be
And
fine.
literally,
Yeah.
and they would have passed the car around the arena so she could finish her
hmm
song and would have gotten it back to the stage.
Yeah.
Like, no doubts
Really would have.
whatsoever.
hmm
I love
Yeah.
us. I
Yeah.
love us
No, y'all are
in that way.
so strong.
Okay. Look,
Y'all are so y'all are so strong in very many ways. Okay. Like y'all were not playing, okay?
man,
At
man.
all.
And the
At
videos
all.
after, because you know everybody was waiting to be like, what was that meeting after?
Yeah.
After what did Beyonce say?
hmm
Do whatever. She's like, y'all try to kill me in my own house.
Yeah, I know. In Houston, my goodness.
Try
Yeah.
to kill me in my
Whoosh.
own house.
Pretty crazy.
Mm, mm,
Pretty
mm, mm.
crazy.
That's so
Yeah.
great. I mean, yeah, the content after it. I'm so glad she was okay. So
hmm
glad nothing wild happened. Glad that they
Yeah.
were able to quickly and easily remove her and that she continued on with the show.
Yeah.
Like
And
the
did
goddamn professional that she
performer.
is.
Yeah.
Goddamn professional that she is.
hmm
I was like, and yes, was following the Buffalo Soldier
Yeah.
items where people were like, she and her stylist should have been more aware and did all the things. I'm like, it's such a mixed bag for the
hmm
Buffalo Soldiers stuff. And like,
It's nuanced.
I I'm big on the Buffalo Soldiers. My grandpa was huge on it. He did like Buffalo Soldier reenactments. My family
Oh
has a
wow.
bunch of uh paintings, like a
hmm
bunch of paintings of Buffalo Soldiers around the house passed on from my grandpa into our house and all of that. Like it's
It's
historically,
culture. It's Black
yes.
culture.
Yes, it is absolutely Black culture. And Buffalo Soldiers were not innocent of wrongdoing either
Absolutely.
in terms of that. So I think it's a mix of both because there is that vision of there were these Black soldiers that were out, they were doing what they could be doing. That was the
American
representation of the time.
imperialism
Okay.
shit.
Literally
Like
that. Literally
that's
that.
let's call it
And
what it is. And you're
and
from a
it's like,
military family too, and
yes.
then so
So it's
and
like
so yeah,
it's the mixed bag of
it's
like a yes and.
nuance. Yeah.
There's the yes and.
Yeah.
Because it's just like it's the same thing where it's like you look back at like what was it? My grandpa was a prisoner of war
hmm
in the Korean War,
Mm.
I believe.
hmm
And I hate that I'm blanking on that right now because I know this information. But also to even think about the fact that it's like, then we had Black folks that were going and fighting wars and we were doing this. I
Yeah.
think it's just like both things can like sit in the space.
Yeah.
There is great representation that happened with the Buffalo Soldiers, and there were positive things that happened with them. And there was fucked up shit that happened too. Stuff that they were for. Oh God. Oh God. Ah. Ah. There's bug.
This stays in.
There's bug.
This stays
I
in.
hate you.
This absolutely
Yeah.
stays in.
Ah.
This stays in.
Anyways, I hate
Yeah.
you. You're gonna leave that
But
in
there's
here.
nuance. Like it is
But
like
there's
my dad is
nuance.
a
It's like,
Vietnam.
yes.
Yeah. Like it's it's hard. It's a difficult position for Black Americans
Yes.
um to applaud our military soldiers because most to all of the things that the American military has done has been horrific and wrong.
Hmm.
So I think the wording of was it a paragraph? Because it was like the shirt, and then did she have like a paragraph? What was it with with like explaining out who the Buffalo Soldiers are? Was
Hmm.
that on her Instagram?
Um,
It was somewhere. There was some text about
let
like
me
who they
go before I
were,
say
and
like, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
specifically called like I guess referred to Mexican revolutionaries and Native Americans as like enemies of peace. And I think that was just really if her team could have gone back and done it, like reworded it. I don't even know if that's something that they worded.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's where it gets caught up at because
Yeah, there's a big paragraph on the back of the shirt.
oh, okay. So
But
it's
like
on the
she
shirt.
doesn't have it like written as a caption or anything.
Oh,
She just
okay.
has like a paragraph that's on the back of the shirt, but you can't even see it because her hair covers it.
Yeah. So not even her. That's not her
But I'm sure
shirt.
somebody
That's
found the shirt.
yeah. Okay. Well, either way, she still wore the shirt, so I know it's like whatever you wear as a celebrity or whatever. It's like a kind of unofficial endorsement. But
Mm,
yeah. I mean, that's just it's nuanced. It is. I mean, both sides are not wrong. Like I understood the people who were like, hey, like they weren't enemies of peace because they weren't. And I conversely think that there's going to be some elements of like Black military service and heroes that we're going to honor and have reverence for. And we should have the space to do that. It's not something that we wanted to do in a lot of cases. Like my dad's a Vietnam veteran, he was drafted, so he had to go over
hmm.
there. And a lot of our wars with almost everything in this country, not really something we had control of. And I just think it was the wording of the shirt could have been worded better and more accurately than saying that they were enemies of war. But aside from that, like, I think we should be able to honor our Black military heroes when needed. Like Buffalo Soldiers, yes, complicated history, but doesn't mean that everything they did was bad or evil.
Yeah.
So, it just, yeah. So both sides are
Such a
right.
mixed bag. Such
Every
a mixed bag
everybody's
for it.
right. I mean, you know. So,
Hmm.
all right. Well, that's it. That's it. I hope we ended on a kind of positive note. Let's move on to our advice segment. Am I back queer? Send your questions to us at backwards.com. Hit us up on IG at backwardspod or email us at backwards@backwards.com to be featured. This first one is from Anonymous, who I will name Amber. Amber asks, am I a bad queer? My friend is truly in her hot queer summer era. Now, I have no problem with her having a hot queer summer. She just got out of a relationship where she should have broken up with her a long time ago, and she needs to be outside. The problem I have is that she went from one messy relationship to a bunch of messy situationships. She
Mm.
hasn't learned at all and is repeating the same patterns. I've tried to talk to her, but she won't listen and says it's not that serious and to let her be free for a minute. Am I bad queer if I distance myself from her while she goes through this phase in her life? It's frustrating to be around Amber. I don't think you're a bad queer from separating yourself from this. If it was so like if every time y'all went out, it was this that you have to deal with, or if you have to deal with it more directly than I understand, I would say like you could still hang out with your friend in a capacity that doesn't involve any of her messy situationships and hopefully not agree to not talk about it because that's the thing. It's like let her fuck her shit up if she wants to. I mean, I know you want her to learn these lessons for whatever reason they're not sticking or it's not gonna it doesn't seem like anything that you're saying is gonna turn things around. So if you're able to still hang with your friend without talking about that stuff or that stuff spilling over, maybe there's still a way to like still hang out with her. If there's not, then it's okay to distance yourself. Like you don't want to see her self-destruct. You don't want to be a part of it. But yeah, if she's hell bent on doing all that and being free, like that is very much her choice. And that doesn't mean you can't say anything when it veers into like very dangerous territory or something that would really set her back. But also sometimes you got to let people fall on their face, no matter how many times they fall on their face, if that's what they want. So, what do you say?
I definitely agree with the part that you're stating around there are other ways to hang out that aren't her trying to hit on other people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like maybe you're just not going to the club with her anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're going to the club with other friends.
Or the bar.
Because
Maybe y'all just go
the
out to eat.
bar, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
just go hang out and have host a movie night, a little
Mm-hmm.
walk in the park,
A lot of
something
things.
like that. You know, it
Go work
sounds like you're
out.
the friend who is trying to help their friend be better because you probably were on the receiving end of a lot of venting and a lot of late nights and chats and being there for your friend. And now you're seeing your friend do the same thing after you worked so hard to help them be free of their last relationship. And now you're pissed off at them because it seems like they've learned nothing and are continuing to go back. And now you're annoyed. And that's okay. But your friend is their own person and you have to allow them to do what they're going to do. Maybe she just does need to get this out of her system. Maybe she does just need to be free and messy for a minute for her to then open the door to bigger, brighter, and better things in the future, you know?
Yeah.
So sometimes you
Oh,
just gotta let your
your
friends,
friend might never learn
right?
either.
Also, that there
Might
is the strong
never learn.
possibility that this
Hmm.
is just how your friend is.
She might like it.
You know, she might do it for the plot.
Some people like that. Some people like drama in
Mm-hmm.
their lives. Some people like
Okay.
that.
I was like, are we not watching The Ultimatum right now? Like,
I mean,
some of the people love it.
hmm
So yeah, it's one of those. I hate that I'm pulling out like the Mel Robbins. Let them.
hmm I mean,
Let
if
them
she
do what
wants
they're going
to.
to do. You figure out if you want to still be around your friend and stuff, just find alternative spaces where you all can do that because there's plenty. And let her, as she stated, be free.
Hmm And be like, have a slice, okay?
Okay?
I'm going home. Like y'all go out to eat for
Enjoy.
dinner. She wants to go to a bar for, and you know that she's gonna do that fuck shit at the bar. Be like, you have a great night. I'm gonna head home, okay? You get back safe. Text me. Like you don't have to be around any of the messy situationship stuff, and you don't have to talk about it with her. Like if she want to bring it up, be like, I really don't want to talk about this, like
Mm-hmm.
at all. And she should respect that. So, and you're
Yes.
respecting her by being like, you got it. We just won't talk
We
about it. Don't
good.
bring it to me.
It's fine.
So, yeah,
It's fine. I'm fine.
yeah. Hope that helps, Amber.
Thanks, Amber. All right. Our next and final Am I a Bad Queer is from Benjamin. Benjamin says, Am I a bad queer for not wanting kids even though my partner does? My boyfriend of 2 years is amazing, and we're serious about each other. He's always dreamed of having kids, adopting, and building a family. I always said I wasn't sure, but recently I realized I really don't want kids. I love my quiet life, my free time, and my money. Always comes down to that. He says he can't imagine life without children and that queer people having families is powerful representation. I don't disagree, but I just don't want to be a dad. Am
Mm,
I a bad queer for potentially ending a great relationship over this? And am I selfish for not wanting to be part of creating visible black gay family when so many kids need homes? Benjamin.
mm.
I know you got all the thoughts for this, but you know,
You know I
I'll keep
do.
mine. I'll keep mine short and sweet. Um, Benjamin, that's a core value. And when the core values don't align, no matter how great the relationship is, how wonderful it is, that is going to blow up every single time. So if the core values don't align, you are not being selfish for not wanting to create and be a part of the powerful representation that your partner is clearly selling you on. But if it's
Like
not
a
for you,
sale.
literally a sale, like the vision is there and I see
And
it.
it's like, okay.
The vision is there
Procter
and I
and
see it.
Gamble? That's like
Okay. But if that is not for you, then pack your stuff and leave. So leave. I know that it's great. I know that it's wonderful, but leave.
hmm
Cause that again, core values, like you can't 100% like negotiate those things. So you hate it because you're like, I love this person and we're very serious about it, but at the same time, you know what you want, your partner knows what they want. And at some point, that will continue to blow up the further that you all stay in this relationship. It's going to blow up. It's going to cause resentment, and this wonderful relationship is no
Hmm.
longer going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
Chris, anything else to add?
I mean, yeah, don't have kids if you don't want kids. And that's a PSA for any and
Okay.
everybody who doesn't want kids. If you
Coming
know
from
you
the
don't
parent.
want kids, don't have kids. Yeah. They're please don't. I mean, that's not fair to the kids. And they'll feel that. They'll feel that. And it just won't as Shayna said, it's a core value thing. It's something that your partner is not going to change their mind about and shouldn't change your mind about not having kids, and you shouldn't change your mind to have kids. Like, I didn't grow up wanting kids, but I was open to it if I found the right person. I definitely, look longingly sometimes at y'all's quiet life of free time and money and everything. But I was someone who was open to having kids with the right person. Like, it was very specific. Um, and yeah, like I've said before, I have such immense respect for all the parents that are parents before me that take care of their kids and have raised these humans to good adults. And I think people who are shitty parents are the scum of the earth because they don't ask to be here. So you have to be very certain you want to bring life into this world. I don't know what this commercial your partner is trying to sell you on with like representation. There will be enough black gay representation, and there's enough queer black couples who want children and are having children and family building. But if you do not want to do this, it's not going to change. Like, having a kid's not going to change your mind about that, and it isn't for your partner. So don't have kids, and sometimes you have to end a good thing because of that. That's a really big thing. Um so yeah, y'all shouldn't feel shame about it. It just isn't something in the cards for you, and it is something so life-changing. So it's not like something you could bail out in a
Hmm.
couple years once after it happens, where it's like, I gave it a shot and I wasn't good at it, so I don't want to be a dad anymore. You can't do that. So just don't have a kid, and allow him to find somebody who is more aligned with his values and somebody who's aligned with yours. So,
Yes.
yep. Hope that helps, Benjamin. All right. That was it for this week's Am I a Bad Queer? Send your questions to badqueers.com. Hit us up on IG at badqueerspod, or email us at badqueers@badqueers.com.
All right. What type of backwards will we be if we didn't have unpopular queer opinions? Mine is going to be short and sweet. My backward opinion is I don't think we're celebrating the pride parties that are doing it right
Hmm.
enough. I don't think we're celebrating them and doing the things. I said I don't know if I am just finally following all of the right people and seeing it come across my timeline, or that more of my friends are out doing it, or that people are just actually hosting it. I got to go to the Lesbian Social Club party in Chicago. It was great. Took over this multi-level building, and it was just all queer women, trans, and non-binary folks. It was fantastic. Loved it. Was super happy about it. I was like, there's at least 3 to 4 more parties that are more so black queer centered that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. Plus our Southside Pride. Amazing. We had friends in New York who were at New York Pride. I was like, Jade was hosting an event, I believe, with Raw Honey. AJ Hikes in Philly, always hosts Amazing Sway Philly party. Like, there are just so many good events and spaces that are starting to happen and really coming up. And I don't think we are shouting them out enough. I don't think we're talking about them enough. And just share it with all of us out of staters so that we know when we come to town as we do these things. So I just want to celebrate that. And I was really happy to see this, because I think you and I remember the times where it was just like, nope, we were just gonna go and hang out with all the gay guys or go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So love that
There
more
was
of these
this
spaces
one
are
girl
popping up.
party.
Okay?
So,
The
yeah.
only one.
How would you like them celebrated? Like, do you want like a end of the Pride awards? Like, maybe there's a award
Yes.
season in
Yes.
August, or maybe at the end of the year, because you got Black Prides that happen in fall. But
That is true.
yeah, maybe there should be a award
There
series,
should be
something. The
something
best
that
prize. That'd be kind of
recognizes
cool.
what they do, and they'll be, and almost to make it like an official thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, when you come here, it's like, hey, you go to the spot, these are the people who have been recognized,
Mm-hmm.
and you know that this is going to be like a good time if you come here.
Yeah.
And then here are like other ones that are similar to this who are runners up in terms
Yeah.
of like what they're
That'd be
doing.
cool.
Like,
Even just
absolutely.
being nominated. I think it
Yeah.
should go by
Or like a
region.
map.
Yeah, I was gonna say it should
Yeah.
go by region, but then there should be one overall award, like the 2025 Pride event of whatever, you know.
Mm,
But yeah, it definitely should be like what was the best Pride party in the West? What was the best Pride party in the South region?
yeah.
And all that. So, and then a winner,
Yeah.
maybe it's like a tournament bracket, you know. So,
Our own fantasy
and the
draft.
people vote. Yeah, and the people
Yep.
vote, that went. So, because there are
Yeah.
a lot of great parties out there. I saw Black Market Vintage had a really good party, the annual
Oh
party that
yeah.
that looks cool.
That was
It's
so
they're
good.
really leveling up all of these parties. It's come so far.
Hmm.
So yeah, maybe you know, award season. That would be
That's the
that'd
thing.
be cool.
Yeah. But it's also like
That'd
how
be
they
cool.
did the women's sports bars and they just put them all on a map. I'm like, put all of these
Put them
parties
on the map.
on a
Yeah.
map
You
and
know
have
what's
us be able to
difficult
click
about
into
the
it.
map is that parties and event producers like you got to change that up. You have some that stay around, but then you have some that
That
change
travel and do
up
the stuff.
and
Yeah.
travel,
And
but or
you
just
can have fun
disappear or
little section.
stop. So
Yeah. But
you know,
that's why we got to make sure that we have our historians
mm,
who are
yeah,
keeping track, making sure that it's
yeah. And it
updated,
could be by
each year
year,
review.
it could be the
Yes, yes.
2025. So like,
Yep.
okay, 2026, maybe if you're
2026,
not
then you're like,
there,
oh,
you're
here's what
not
was removed,
okay.
here was
Mm-hmm.
added. You have a little symbol
Hmm.
next to it so that you know
Yeah.
what it's like. Yeah, all the little details I could say, like, oh yeah, this is like a Black queer run party, or this is
Yeah.
whatever, and just kind of like go from there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be
We
dope.
didn't talk about this, but what do you think about Dinah ending? It ends this year, right? This is
Yeah,
the
this is this
last
last
Dinah.
Dinah.
Do you know
Wow.
why? I didn't look into why, but is it just
It sounded like it was
it's
just
just
time.
time? Yeah.
I mean, they've been doing it for like what, over 20 years?
I think it's like 25
That
years or something. So,
yeah,
yeah, I
like
never went, but I feel a little sad because I'm not gonna make this one. But I'm like, oh,
right.
not going.
I've been to
You
Dino
know,
twice, one and a half
wow,
times.
okay.
It was like
That's
one
cool.
and a half
You
because
would
technically I
that
went to
means you
Korea,
could be in their documentary in a
right?
couple years.
You never know.
They can ask you. Yep. Yeah, I went twice. That's
You
good. Yeah,
never
multiple
know.
times.
I
So,
definitely could be. I was in there.
well, that's good. Well, shout out to them and because they were a giant. I mean, it was Dinah for the longest time. Like
It was like
Dinah
the
was like
only.
one of the only things. Yep. So, shout out to
Yeah.
them.
They deserve a
Hmm.
good documentary.
They do. They do.
Maybe even a series.
Yeah. One of them, limited series,
Mm-hmm.
documentary, one of them.
Spin-off TV
Hmm.
show. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. Well, my bad queer opinion is about Jojo Siwa. Everything about Jojo Siwa is against my will. Everything I know about her is against my will. I don't know what dance show she came off of. It's a
Uh-huh.
younger generation. Y'all gave her a lot of hoopla. I looked it up for this. She came out in January of 2021. And since then, y'all have thoroughly glazed this little girl. Like I don't know why y'all ascended her to heights unknown and undeserved. But like that's the thing. So my bad queer opinion is just give them the welcome package and leave them alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess the first day of Pride, and I was watching a video, shout out to Erica Hart, I Heart Erica, talking about this, but there were so many queer folks mad at Jojo Siwa for coming out in a heterosexual relationship. She's dating some guy 10 years older than her, and people felt pretty betrayed for it. And she had an appearance during Pride Month. She was supposed to do Chicago's Backlot Pride
She was supposed to
Bash.
do Backlot Bash, and she said,
Canceled due to
I'm a
scheduling conflict.
I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, she said nah.
Man, the queers were devastated.
That
They
made
were
it
like, we
worse.
don't
She should have
care.
just
They were like,
performed,
JoJo, we don't care. We don't care.
She
Like
should
the
have just
literally
performed. I don't
Backlot
understand.
Bash was like is made for the white queer women, and
Okay.
they
And
were
this
ready
this is
to
who elevated her.
flock.
She should have went. That's who
They
elevated
were
her.
ready to flock. They did not care about her, like the Chicago white queer Ladala Beans were ready. They said
Ladala
they like
beans.
the
That's so
group chats
funny.
were going off. All of my flag football chats were going off. They were like, Jojo Siwa, Backlot Bash. I was like, guess who's not going to Backlot Bash this year? Me. Because I am not doing
You're like, who cares?
that.
So that's the thing. So I think she makes it worse by canceling that. But she also said in an interview that she felt pressured to label herself as a lesbian when she first came out, suggesting that some of the pressure came from our community. Um,
Ooh, not her blaming the gays for
not her blaming us. But second of all, she would have still been. queer, even if she's in this relation, this heterosexual relationship. She's
Yeah.
still queer. So I don't know what the controversy
I
was.
was like, did she
She's
not take a second?
22 years old. I
No.
think y'all got to
Then that
stop
answers the
hitching your
question.
wagons to a 22-year-old or anybody super young because sexuality is fluid and she is
Mm-hmm.
exploring, and y'all gave her
Yeah.
too much too soon. So again, my bad queer opinion is stop crowning these newly out celebrities so quickly. Y'all did it with Caitlyn Jenner. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
did it to this extent with a different extent with Jojo Siwa, but like y'all
Mm-hmm.
gave her a lot of shit. Like, and I didn't understand it, but you know, y'all got it. And then now y'all are hurt because she's exploring her sexuality and kind of throwing a little bit of shots at us because we don't even know where she's gonna land with this. But this girl is 22 years old. Like, she was born in 2003. Like, this girl does not know what she is and what she's gonna be. She'll land somewhere, but like, stop, 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 stop. Like, I think that's on us. That's on us for crowning her too soon or just elevating her for no reason. For
Yeah.
no reason. No reason at all. Like, y'all was glazing her. Like, this girl, like, I was like, I don't get it. I mean, she did the weird dance thing, cool, and went viral, but like, nah. Like, stop. Don't do this again. Stop. Just give them the care package, the welcome package. We give welcome packages here, like, hey, welcome, and that's it. That's it. Let them figure it out. Let them figure it out. So,
Yep.
hmm, especially somebody so young, 22. She
So
don't know.
young.
She don't fucking
She
know.
don't know. She
Yeah,
don't know. She can,
she
and
don't
y'all,
know. She might.
she said, y'all made me identify as a lesbian way too soon. And I'm like, I was gonna say, did you not take the time to do your research on what the different identities were? And then I stopped you. You
And
were like,
probably
she said
didn't.
22, and I was like, right, 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 right. She didn't. She didn't study for
She
that test.
didn't.
It's
She
fine.
didn't. She
It's
didn't.
fine.
She saw one Instagram carousel and was like, oh, I'm a
It
lesbian.
me.
You
It
know,
me.
like it's just you.
It me.
She don't fucking know. Like, y'all
She watched the
let
L Word
that
Generation
girl.
Q and said, okay.
That's it. She went to. She didn't even watch it. She went to one Generation Q
One
party.
panel. She went to a panel
She
that they
went
were
to the
on.
party for the premiere. And it was like, wow, I'm a lesbian. So
I
yeah,
love it here.
don't y'all do that again. I don't know. I don't think we've done that to anybody in the Black community like
I
that,
don't,
like where we
I
just to the
hope,
top because it's
I
just
hope
like
not. I
also
mean, they
like,
usually
okay,
just elevate
welcome.
themselves to the top because, like, Nisi
Yeah,
is in
yeah,
there. And we
yeah.
say, go ahead,
Nisi
girl.
is in there. Yeah.
You
And but
know,
see, that's different. She came out married. Like
also,
married, like coming out
that was
and being
great.
married is like a different level of commitment where
That
it's
was
like,
great.
okay, like that was
Ooh,
really good. That happened
Kaylani.
during Kaylani.
Kaylani, we've had
Kay,
trouble with.
we've, you know,
Everybody's just like,
we've
she
taken
doesn't
a
know what she
ride
wants.
with
That's what
it.
people have
Yeah,
said.
and
But I
that's
feel
what
like
we did.
everybody, but I feel like for that, it was more so like hope. We were like, please just stay
Hmm.
on this side. Don't go back
Yeah.
to the other side was the
But
thing.
see,
So
and
I think
that's
it
the
was more
thing
so
we got to
hope and
stop
not
doing.
not
We
pushing.
don't know what size, what they're doing. They're still young. Even Kalani is just like 30. Like the time
Yeah.
in which she was
Which
like
is
dating
wild to think.
Kyrie,
Every
and
time I
I
think
know,
she's
isn't
like the same
it?
age as us.
No, she's like
She's so much
younger, isn't
younger.
it?
She's
Crazy.
younger.
How old is she?
She's a
Kaylani is
baby.
a baby. 30 of this
Yeah.
year. She turned
She's a
30
baby.
this year. So she's still a baby too. So she dated what Party Next Door and Kyrie and then came. So it's like
The
she needed to figure
coach.
some shit out too. The coach.
The coach
Oh,
was
the
the one that
coach.
hurt.
The
The
coach.
coach was
Yeah.
the one that
Oh, there
hurt.
was a lot. There was
Or
a lot
shave
of
her head and
there was
just
a lot
left.
going
But
on.
we talked
Yeah.
about it. We
Yeah,
talked
yeah,
about it. Go back
yeah.
and
We
listen. Go
did.
back and
And
listen.
Victoria Monet, which is still just ooh, still
Still,
I'm just like, if I could have just and they
if
dated
she
just
ever,
privately too, basically. Ugh,
yep.
such a good song spawned out
I
of
hope
that. And
she's
we
getting
got
a
a good
man.
song, and that's the thing. We got a good song out of it.
Yes,
Kaylani gave us content, good
and
content.
did
She's good.
and did.
Jojo Siwa, again, I don't understand where the appeal is and the talent. Again, I didn't watch whatever reality show she was on and everything. So I know that people follow her and who are fans of her are fans of her for a reason. But just let these celebrities figure it out and don't elevate them into like just don't elevate them. Like we don't
Yeah.
know what they're where they're gonna land with this stuff. So just say welcome, glad to have you. Let them figure it out.
Care
So
package, good to go.
care package, that's it. That's it. That's it. So
All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up the show, but you know we would never leave you without giving shout outs to our faves. My shout out this week goes to Pink Sappho, which is a BIPOC sapphic social club, providing luxurious experiences in the form of a sapphic social club to create consistent and inclusive space for sapphic individuals of color while celebrating sensuality, culture, and connection. They host wellness events, immersive events, sex education, and themed gatherings. You can follow and get involved on IG at pink_Sappho.
All right. My shout out is to us because you need to check out our Queer Ultimatum recaps that are on Patreon and YouTube. And we're releasing the audio of it too, but come watch us. You can find us at Bad Queers Podcast on both platforms, and be sure to subscribe, sign up, and like our videos, interact with them. We're getting in depth with them. Have a lot of thoughts. A lot of thoughts.
My goodness.
In depth and chaotic. So,
Okay.
y'all know we have a lot of thoughts. So y'all check them out. We're putting out the last one for the last drop, which is 3 episodes, and including the reunion. So y'all check it out.
Yes. We have a good time with it.
We are. What a season. We have so many thoughts, but
so many thoughts.
Check it out. Check out our thoughts on YouTube or Patreon.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Take care.
It's me again. Can we talk about things? I'm sorry that I'm